Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Liaison Library, Episode 7, Back to the Basics. My name is Brandon Dumick. I'm a damage prevention liaison in southwestern Pennsylvania. Thank you all for attending this morning with us. Our first basics episode was one of the most popular, one of the most viewed that we had. So we figured what better way to start this new year off than hitting you again with some basic information on Pennsylvania One Call. In addition, we've had some new things to add, in particular on the technology front. So we're excited to share all of that with you this morning. A couple additional things here. Questions. We love your questions, so please utilize the Q&A box. This is live, so any question you have will be answered in real time. One of our supervisors for our liaison team, Marcos Bernal, will be monitoring our question box, and so we can shout those out to you at the end of each segment here, and we'll also have some time at the end of the event for questions there as well. So without further ado, let's get started. First up, we do have some basic information for you. In fact, it's so basic, it is aptly named the Introduction to PA One Call. So Maria White is up first, and Maria, please lead us off with Intro to PA One Call.
Good morning, everybody. As Brandon mentioned, my name is Maria White, and I am the Northeast Damage Prevention Liaison. So just real quick, we began in 1972, so our company is 50 years old, which is wonderful. We operate out of a town called West Mifflin in Pittsburgh, and I'm going to tell you a lot more about us once I share my screen. Okay, great. So officially, we're called Pennsylvania One Call System, Inc., which most people just say PA One Call or PA1. And we're also doing business as Pennsylvania 811. So just so you know, 811 works in every single state. When you call that number, it calls the local one call system, and every state has a one call system, at least one, sometimes two if it's a larger state like New York or Chicago. So our purpose at Pennsylvania One Call is to prevent damage to underground facilities. To promote safety, we provide an efficient and effective communications network among project owners, designers, excavators, and facility owners. So these are our four main stakeholder groups. And what's important about that is the law that we follow is called the Act 287 as amended. In that law, there's sections for those different stakeholder groups, project owners, designers, excavators, and facility owners. And you can find copies of the law on our website. We have an excellent website, pa1call.org, and I'll tell you more about that as we go along. So the way that we operate, there's 10 liaison areas in the education department, and you can call on any of us at any time for education, but the heartbeat of our company is near Pittsburgh, as I mentioned, in a town called West Mifflin. We have about 80 employees, so when you call into member services or payables or any of the other departments, you're reaching staff out near the Pittsburgh area. I do have to say, and I guess I've been beating my own drum, but I think that all the employees at Pennsylvania One Call have a lot of passion, and they're all hardworking and hopefully all very friendly to you. Now, if you need more information on the liaisons, can be found at pa1call.org/liaisons, but also on our website, you can find copies of the law, which is the Act 287. There's a user's guide that's a little thicker than the law, but it has extra information on each of the sections of the law, so it can be very helpful and it's searchable. We also have copies of the Excavator magazine, tons of events that are always free in our events calendar, and lots more information. So Pennsylvania One Call. We are open 24 hours a day, every day of the year, and we have over 3,600 member facility owners. We started out with 6 in 1972, so that's pretty impressive. We've built that up over the years, and more than 100,000 excavators. That number builds every day, I'd say. Now, the way that we make our money, we are a nonprofit. We're not a state agency, so we collect money from the facility owners. It's about 70 cents a ticket plus. It's between 70 cents and $1 a ticket, depending on if the member facility owner has extra call supplemental activities. And you'll learn more about that when Tim comes on from Member Services. And then the other way that we make money is the excavation community pays $125 a year for unlimited calls. And homeowners, property owners at their own main property do not pay anything. So if you ever need to do work on your private property, give us a call. It's free. So it's mandatory for facility owners. If you own or operate a line that serves one or more customer or consumer, an underground line, then you must be a member of Pennsylvania One Call. If you're a municipality listening in right now and you've been paying the $125 a year, that means that you are not a facility owner member, but you need to be. And the reason why is because in the law, under the definition of a line, includes culverts, drain pipes, catch basins, sluice pipes. So you need to be a member, and you won't have to pay the $125 a year anymore if you are 2,000 or less census population. And if you're more than that, then we'll work with you on what your rates would be. So anytime you're even scratching the surface of the earth with mechanized equipment or powered equipment, you must make a one call. So either call 811 or use our web ticket entry, which is the electronic way to put in a ticket. More than half of our tickets are done this way, and we hope that you will take our training and start to put your tickets in electronically if you don't already. Now, explosives, we have that word in there as well. If you're using explosives, not only should you be calling 3 to 10 business days in advance, but you better make sure you contact that facility owners that you are using explosives near, because especially for underground high pressure gas lines, they may have an engineering spec that you can only use explosives 500 feet or more from their line. So please work with them directly. Now let's talk about this 3 to 10 business days. In the definition of a business day, we are not including Saturdays, Sundays, or legal holidays. So if you want to dig on a Thursday, you need to call by Monday. If you want to dig on Friday, you have to call by Tuesday. So even on your own property, let's say you decide to put in a pool or a mailbox, you need to call by Tuesday so that you could dig on the weekends. And we can tell you more about that as we go along. Now, so important, this is really how we operate at PA One Call. We have a communications network, and it really depends on everybody doing their part. So the excavator needs to notify us of their excavation, but they need to give us exact information so that we can relay that to our facility owners. The facility owners, once they receive the notice, and these will be the facility owners in a certain municipality, or if they mapped with us, then they're going to receive the notice if they have the excavations in their mapped area. We also put a nice 150-foot buffer on there for safety. Then once the facility owner receives the notice, then they're going to determine whether they need to put boots on the ground and send their locators out. Their locators will either say that they were clear, or they will say that they are field marked and go out and mark their facilities. And then the very last step of the communications network is the excavator is going to receive a notice that has all the responses from those facility owners. Hopefully they all say field marked or clear, but if not, you're going to learn more about what to do when that happens. But that's the end of our communications network at Pennsylvania One Call. Marking in white, so important. Hopefully everybody has a can of white paint in their vehicle. Mark your dig site in white. Especially if you do not have exact locate information, you should mark in white, and we highly recommend it at all times. There's no reason for the locator to get out there and not know where to mark the lines and to waste their time looking around a property that might have 50 acres, let's say. So now let's talk a little bit more about the color codes. There is what's called the APWA, which is the American Public Works Association, CGA, which is Common Ground Alliance, temporary marking colors. We have these available for you to give out to your employees if you need. They're very nice laminated cards that show all the different colors and what they mean. So just to let you know, every facility needs to be marked in the appropriate color. The only two extra colors are white, where you would use for marking excavations, and pink. Pink can be used for survey, so that's good to know. The other colors, just to touch on a few, red is electric, yellow is gas, green is sewer. But please do collect some of these cards from us. They will have more information. The other important thing is the facility owner must use the 4 components of a correct mark so that the excavator can see where the line is located and the area. Okay, so they can use the 4 components of the correct mark to calculate their tolerance zone, which we'll talk about next. But the facility owner should use the proper color paint. They should mark down the size of the line, the name of the company, they can use initials, and what the line is made of. Otherwise, the excavator would not be able to figure out if they found the line they're looking for. So here's our tolerance zone. The excavator comes out, they see the paint marking somewhere in here. The line is marked as 12 inches. So they're going to take the size of the line and they're going to add 18 inches either side of that line to make a 48-inch tolerance zone. The tolerance zone is the area where the excavator should not use mechanized equipment until they've ascertained where the line is located. So they can use other prudent techniques such as hand digging, vacuum excavation, and other prudent techniques to locate the line carefully. And then if they choose, they could use the mechanized equipment once they are sure that they have found what they're looking for. So setting up an account on our website, when you go into the pa1call.org, there's a box where you can create an account, or if you forgot your password, you can also click on forgot your password. Once you've created an account, one of the most important buttons is the applications button. And today you're going to learn a lot more about our different applications from my coworkers. So applications is important. Also, once you log in, you're going to have a button that comes up that says My Account. My Account is very awesome because you can keep it updated with your information, but you can also get certificates for all of the free webinars that you take with us and classes that you take with us. More to come on that. And then lastly, here is something you can take a snapshot of, or again, you can go to our website to find this at pa1call.org/liaisons. And these are all of the wonderful education people. And as I mentioned, we have a nice staff back in Pittsburgh as well. So thank you to all of them for everything they do. And I will say back to you, Brandon.
So Maria, thank you very much. Great information. And just to make the point very clear, the rest of the morning here and also everything we do at One Call is based off of what Maria just presented to us. So good information for sure. Let's go over to Marcos real quick, our question guy for the morning. Marcos, do we have any questions from that first segment?
Guy, yeah, we do have a couple questions. Number one is, do utilities have to pay for the updates or refresh of tickets? Maria, I'll quickly answer that. Yes, they do. Any updates or any new tickets that come in like that, the facility owners do have to pay for those. So any excavators on the call, if you're listening, please don't update a ticket constantly. Please don't constantly update a notification for no reason. Start placing your tickets when you actually plan on doing the work. We definitely want we want you to place your tickets. Absolutely, the facility owners need them, but make sure you're entering the tickets that you can handle in the time frame given. Maria, I got one for you here. Is a one call necessary for non-mechanized subsurface exploration or non-mechanized excavation?
Yes, Mark, we highly recommend that you make a one call every time that you dig in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But according to the law, it's only when it's required under the law when you're using mechanized equipment. So we recommend it either way, because even with a shovel, you can hit an electric line and zap yourself. So I'd say make the one call.
Okay. Brandon, back to you.
Questions, Marcus? To me? All right, cool. Good questions, good answers. Thank you very much. So let's move on here now. So next we have our technology segment. So this is what I alluded to earlier. We had some updates in particular to our applications, some of which you may already know and be using and be very familiar with, but some have had some updates, some new additions, even some overhauls here, as you'll see with web ticket entry. So we'll be covering here online ticket management with Kirkpatrick, and then we'll have Eric and Dominic on web ticket entry 4.0, and then I will see you on the other side for giving you a brief rundown of Coordinate PA. So Kirk, lead the way with OTM.
All right, good morning, everyone. I am Kirkpatrick, Prevention Liaison, and we are going to talk a little bit about the online ticket management. I'm going to give you a quick run through on this and show you what's going on. So if we can get this thing showed on screen here, we'll get right into this. When you get into our website, you're going to go to pa1call.org, go to our sign in, go to applications, go to new online ticket management, and this page will show up. Now, depending on whether you're a facility owner or an excavator, or if you wear both hats, you'll have both of these things here, but it will show up to what you are. So this is what the facility owner is going to see. The excavator is going to look at it this way here. And basically for the excavator, what this is doing for you is showing you the tickets that you have placed and the responses for those tickets. So here's this one here says tickets, next lawful start date for, and then this one says responsible ticket or recent responses for the tickets and tickets recently placed. Those are some of the things you can go through here and change some of these things and look at it that way. You can also look up tickets for up to 5 years back, using some of these drop downs here. You can look by serial number, ticket list, tickets nearby is another option you have available to you. You can do responses by serial numbers. You can look up reports. And if you get stuck on this, you can go click the help button. The other thing you can do is you can go to or contact your local liaison and ask them to help walk you through this a little bit more. The other thing that's down here before I get into these tickets up here is there's this map down here, and it is showing where some of these tickets are. And mind you, we're on our what we call our training site or our development site to kind of look at things. So we don't have a whole lot of things. If you pull this thing down around and take a look, if you notice I've got refresh as we're doing it, or as I move the map, we got these tickets are what these tickets are right here. All these dots that are right there are the tickets in that this excavator has placed in recent time frame. So that's what those dots are representing. If you hover over that, you're going to see the serial number and so on and so forth. Up here, back to this section that's up here, you can look at it, view it here 5 at a time, or you can do this here, grab the double arrow and look at it, and it's going to take you into the next page here to see this, and it's going to show you that there are 2 pages of tickets here, totaling 13. You can export this to Excel if you really wanted to and take a look at it that way. But you can also not only see the ticket itself, the map of the ticket, but you can also see all the responses for this ticket. Now, this one here is a recent ticket, so it doesn't have any responses for it. But if we look over here where it says this one here, you can see that QQQ has already responded. And some of the other folks that have not responded are listed there. Again, don't worry about our particular site not having all of this. This is just our training system. So, but when you get into that, you're going to be able to see that. So for the excavator, that's what you're looking at. You're going to be similar for the facility owner, except for the facility owner, you're going to see the tickets that are coming in to you. Again, you've got the reports that you can look through, all these up here. You can look for responses by serial number and detailed messages and all this. This is all up here. I encourage you, go through and play with this. Have fun with it. We often tell everybody, go through and break it. If you break it, call me and we'll get it fixed for you. But so what is going to happen up here, our QQQ is our call directing code, the CDC for that we assign to each facility owner member will be a 3-digit or 3-letter, it's not 3 numbers, normally two numbers or 2 letters and a number, or 3 letters. It's just our way of keeping track who we are. Again, down here in the map system, we can do the same thing we did with the on the excavator side. So we can, and if you want, you can turn that off and make it help move things around just a little bit faster. But you can do that, and you can see that those dots are popping up right there. We'll zoom in right in that area. And the red dots are emergency tickets. The blue dots are routine tickets. So that you can see that again, you can hover over that and see the serial numbers that are there and so on. And then you go back up to this section up here where it's the tickets that you as the facility owner has not responded to. You can see the map, you can see the ticket, but if you just grab this respond, not only you're going to have the ability to respond here with the drop down box telling us that you say this one here, you were clear, or you field mark this and say need to be on site due to, and I didn't spell it right, but that's okay. You understand what I'm saying. Need to be on site due to critical line. You can post this, but before you do that, you can also see the entire ticket is here for you. And all the way down here at the bottom, there is the map. So when you go into the respond end, you're going to see all of this. Once you hit post response, it's going to tell you that it's done. It's going to drop it off of here. And if it doesn't automatically, flip it over to the other side up here. Just quickly hit the refresh button and it'll drop it over and you'll see that it's showing up over here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's online ticket management in a quick nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this quick little thing. If you have any other questions, that map that Maria showed you, or the go to our website, pa1call.org/liaisons. You'll be able to see all the liaisons, their phone numbers and their email addresses. Please give us a call. We can walk you through this on the phone with you working on it, or if we need to come out and visit you, we will be glad to come out and do that. So, Brandon, back to you.
Thank you, Kirk. Before we jump on to Erica, Marcos, any follow-up questions from that OTM session?
Sorry, Brandon. I do not have any currently. Let me see, just to make sure. That's it.
Great.
You're good to go. Thank you.
Let's move on then. Erica's next. Erica's going to be walking us through Web Ticket Entry 4.0. So this is brand new. So if you haven't seen it yet, this will be your first look at it. Erica, take it away.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. As you heard, my name is Erica Dominic. I am a damage prevention liaison here for One Call, and I kind of cover the Southwest Central area for the state. So today I am going to show you our new updated application for Web Ticket Entry. Give me a minute here to share my screen and I'll get you there to it. As you can see, I have logged into our applications page, and I want to show this to you here something important to get you started with Web Ticket Entry. With Web Ticket Entry, you are required to watch a video on the application. You will then have to take a short test on it, and then pass that test successfully. Once you do, you will be required to submit a test ticket, which is reviewed by our Member Services Department. And you will then, once that is approved, you will then need to submit 5 more test tickets, again reviewed by Member Services. If you enter those tickets successfully, you will then be given the green light to use the application as you need. So I will go ahead here, and again, all of that information is under here is Web Ticket Entry Training. I'm going to go ahead and click on Web Ticket Entry 4.0 to show you the application. Here we go. We start out with a brand new dashboard for you. And the first thing you want to do here is click to our new terms and conditions to proceed. If you'd like to read them, we do have them here for you. So I'll go ahead and click. We do have the training video here if you would happen to need it. And we do have a helpful document to kind of guide you through the application if you would need assistance. To show you our new tabs here, we have a ticket inquiry. We have the area where we will start a ticket, and we do have start a complex project. Start a complex project will direct you to our Coordinate PA application. I'm going to go back and show you here the ticket inquiry tab. We'll click on it. And you can see here now we do have a ticket inquiry area here in the application. You're able to search the ticket by serial number, or you can search in a date range via county. If you have a site address or a Coordinate PA project ID, you will be able to search that information for that ticket. Just another little added item here we added to the new application. Just wanted to show you guys what it's all about. I will go ahead now, and again, you want to click on our terms of agreements here. As you'll see, when you do click on it, all of these tabs turn bright red, showing you now have access to it. I'll go ahead and hit start a ticket. For this ticket, we're going to do excavation, and I am going to do a routine notification. I'm going to hit create ticket. And you will see our new portal or area to enter your information for the application. For those of you who are using Coordinate PA, this may look a little similar to you. We kind of wanted to get them streamlined to look the same. So you are more familiar with this application when you transition onto Coordinate PA. To show you a little bit about here, maybe you made a mistake and oops, you accidentally entered the wrong type of ticket you would like to enter. You do now have the option here to change your ticket type by clicking on this black box with the pencil. Go through your information on the person who is submitting the ticket, your name, who you're working for, your location, all of that important information. If any of that needs updated, maybe your work location updated, your email, you do now have the option to edit that specified data. And then we also see here our application. You'll notice that we have a new map here. And again, like I said, areas to enter your worksite information. I am here going to start. You can scroll down here. If maybe I was starting in Butler or Clearfield, you would have the ability to choose that from our drop down, but I'm sticking to Allegheny County and I'm sticking to West Mifflin Borough. And you'll see that area highlighted here. We also have 3 maps available now. We do have the Pennsylvania One Call System map, our regular map, and our satellite view. So just to show you there, you do have the 3 options. If you'd like to zoom in, here are your options to do so for your map, maybe so you can zoom in just to get a little bit more detail there on your application. I'm going to go back to our street map and I'm going to enter our work address. And as you can see, as I enter the location information, these sites in our area do happen to, oh, we're going to hit that button, hit a button there by mistake. And I'm going to close these windows here just to show you a few little details. You will see that now the work site is corresponded in green. You will see our nearest intersection here is in yellow, and our second intersection highlights here in blue, just to show you some additional detail there at the work site. One new feature here with this particular application is you will now see the parcel is highlighted here for the entire area of 925 Irwin Run Road. Because I entered that address, I'm able to see that parcel and it now highlights for me. What I can do from here then is maybe I am zooming in here and working in a specific area. I can drag the points that are provided to me. And I can really kind of zero in on my work site here if I want to, just to show you here this example. If I'm happy with that, I do have the ability to save my map, but I also want to show you here how to draw on this map as well. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this map and I'm going to start drawing here where I need to. So we're just going to say we're working here with our points. Oh, having a minute here. It's kind of getting stuck on me. Sorry about that. As you can see there here in web ticket entry, we do only have a maximum of 6 points. So I'm going to go ahead and go back, and you know what? Just for the sake here, there we go. I'm going to hit save my map. And you will see there that it has outlined my area of excavation. I'm going to scroll down. If I have my additional information there for latitude and longitude, I can enter that information. Is my site marked in white? Absolutely. This is where I want to make sure the excavator knows where I'm working. Or I'm sorry, the facility owners know where I'm working. I'm putting in my location information, and we're just going to say here to the right of the building next to the parking lot. Our type of work. Well, I'm being the best coworker ever, and I'm going to put in a swimming pool at work. Everybody could probably use a break there at the in the summer months. So I'm going to, like I said, allow for a pool to be used there at work. My depth, well, the depth of this pool, it's going to go the deepest is 10 feet. So that's what I'll need to make it. And our pool is going to be, let's say here, 10 by 24. I don't know. That sounds like a good dimension for a swimming pool. My method of excavation there will be digging. And for this, I will be using a backhoe. I am working on private property. And I'm also here working, like I said, here to the right of the building. So I'm going to highlight that as well. Again, as you work through, and just like previous on Web Ticket Entry 3.0, the asterisk information is required information. And if you forget something, you will be triggered. It will ask you, hey, you forgot some information. Could you please go in and update it? So here we go. What is my scheduled excavation date? Well, I'm hoping here that on Monday the 30th, it's not snowing 3 feet, but because you know this is Pennsylvania, so I'm going to pick it as my work date. Dig time, well, I'm not an early riser. I'm not going to pick 7 a.m. I think we're going to go with, we'll start at 10 o'clock. My work duration, I can have this done in 7 days. And I'm doing the work. Like I said, I'm the one paying for the project, so you can use me and my information. I am the contact. We can select that box there, and it will include my information, my job number here. Well, let's see here. We're going to go with this number, and that is now our job number. Here is where I can go in and enter any important information here that needs to be shared under the remarks section. I'm going to scroll back up here, take a look at everything, and everything looks good to go to me. I will go ahead then and hit my create ticket. You see a new feature here. We do show the progress of your ticket being processed here, giving you the step-by-step progress we have. I would encourage you then to write down your temporary web reference number, just in case there are an issue with your serial number, you would then have it. As you can see, our progress is going on there, and you are now welcomed with this completion window, our completion screen. It shows you your serial number, your county number, or I'm sorry, your county name, your municipality number. It also now provides the lawful start dates for your ticket. And then to show you these icons here. On this page here, you have the what looks like a piece of paper with the upper right-hand tab folded down. This is where you could start a new ticket. Here, with the 2 pages with the upper left-hand tab folded down, you can copy the ticket that you just entered. Here, with the magnifying glass, it would take you back to the inquiry for the existing tickets. And then finally, here is where you would return to the dashboard with the little home button. So I'll hit that just to take you back to the dashboard. And again, this is your now the interface you want to become familiar with. It is it is rather easy to use. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them now.
Erica, we do have a couple questions. I'm going to jump in on a couple of them if you don't mind too. Good job.
All right.
One of them is when's the Web Ticket Entry 4.0 taking place at Web Ticket Entry 3.0? I don't know if you want to guess at that, Erica, but I'll stab at that. It's about mid-February. Those of you who are still using, and we see you actively using Web Ticket Entry 3.0, you are going to start getting reminders to switch over to 4.0 here in the next week or so. So look for those, and so that's going to be in about let's say a little less than a month from now. So that should be coming your way, but they're looking February 10th, but don't quote me on the date. Another one is I'm a designer and I was approved for Web Ticket Entry a few years ago. Do I need to update my approval for 4.0? The quick answer is probably yes, unless you constantly use it. You want to go ahead and re-up that account status for the 4.0 process. If you constantly use 3.0, you don't need to re-up your 4.0 quiz or anything like that. Good question here, Erica, for you. We do road work. How do we mark the road if we don't work in an address? So if I don't have an actual numbered address, what do I do to tell you where I'm working?
That's when you want to put down those markings that Maria referred to earlier. If you don't have address, you want to make sure that you're locating as close as you can to the facility. And I actually, now that I answer that, I think you're talking about is the excavator. I don't have an address. So what I want to do then is put my marking down in white, using that as information in lieu of my detailed address. Maybe you're working along a rural highway and you don't have an area that is noted or that you can use as a point of reference. Make sure you're marking that in white and that you are using maybe a point to say, hey, I'm working 500 feet from the church and my area is marked in white. Trying to give as specific information as you can using street names, giving directions, giving distances, things like that.
And a couple more here, it looks like. I will answer this one too. When an excavator outlines an area on the map, will the locator for the facility owners be able to see that map? Yes and no. If the locator has access to the actual link, the map link in the ticket, in the field, they can see the map that you drew, but we don't assume that they can see that in the field, so we're not giving them like an extra map layer in their printout or anything like that. So that's why we ask for specific location information to be written out in the actual ticket itself. When we put in the address, will the one call populate the ward like it has done in the past? In the current software, I believe it will, based on your mapping. So you shouldn't have, if you don't know that, a lot of people don't know their ward, but it'll confirm that it is the correct one for you. So you actually putting in the right one, it'll actually make you confirm that. But I think it'll actually do that for you as well. Yes. Erica, I think that's what we got here. Where do you prefer latitude and longitude points? In that latitude and longitude area, we just asked for the latitude and longitude for one area. It'll put an X on the screen on the map for you. Good job, Erica. Back to Brandon, I think, right, Erica?
That's right. Brandon's going to talk a little bit about Coordinate PA. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.
Awesome. Thank you both. A lot of great questions this morning. So please keep them coming in. This is beneficial not only to you, of course, because we're answering your question, but I'm sure other people this morning may have the same question you would have. They would have as well. All right, moving on now. Coordinate PA. So what I'm going to do here, I'm not going to give you a deep dive, overly detailed look at Coordinate PA this morning. What I want to do instead is highlight some of the big additions, the big updates that we've had over the past few months. But please, everyone has a local damage prevention liaison. We are more than happy to sit down with you, walk you through any questions or concerns you may have with CPA, give you more information as you need it. But for this morning, for about 20 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and just show you these newer basic features that you now have access to. So let me share my screen here. This will pop up for you in a moment. Great. All right, so that should be live now for us. So we're in Coordinate PA. So as you can see here, just looking at this at a glance, we have a project on the screen. This is going to be indicated with the color blue, which tells us that this is a water project. Any projects, if you happen to be searching on Coordinate PA and you're looking for other projects that you may be involved in or projects that you are looking to collaborate with, you can tell at a glance what type of facility they are just based on the color, which of course follows the APWA CGA color code for utilities. So we have our water project here. This is going to be a project in Rogersville down in Greene County. But before I jump into that, I do want to show you a couple of those new features that I hinted at. First here, if we go up 2 layers, if you're familiar with Coordinate PA, in the past, we've had moratoriums, we've had railroads, specifically on our moratoriums for our municipal members. Our municipal members are able to upload specific information based on restrictions, permitting requirements, anything specific to their municipality that an excavator or a designer should know when they are planning their work or also preparing to begin excavation in an area. So if you are a municipality and are not taking advantage of this, please make sure you jump on there and upload that information as soon as you can. That way everyone is on the same page when it comes to projects in your area. The other one, though, also pertaining to municipalities and a new one that just came on a few months ago is civic events. So if there are events happening in a municipality, in a community, perhaps temporary road closures, if there's a parade happening, anything, again, that may cause disruption to normal work happening in that area, you can make that known also to those individuals who are planning their projects. Again, upload the information. It's posted on the area where projects are being planned, and everyone has access to that same information. Also, I want to point your attention up here to our importing options. So we've had the XML, the shape files on here, but another new addition here is going to be importing files on there. I don't want to show you that. I'll show you in the project here in a moment, but we do have the KML and KMZ files now available on here for importing. So if you're using those files and you're importing your project information, importing your project geometries, you can do so now using KML and KMZ files. So moving on from that, let's jump into this project. So we have this work taking place in Rogersville. I'm going to click on this and open up our project information. And down below here, just giving you an overview, a snapshot of the project details. This is not going to be ticket information. This is just going to be project detail information. So really what kind of work is taking place, type of facilities that are going to be involved, and the breakdown here, the outline of the timetable, the timeline of the project, beginning with design all the way through to construction. So as you can see here, we have some dates filled in. Preliminary design for this project began back in September. Final design started in November and then wrapped up a few days ago, January 6th. And then we had this project go out to bid on the 9th, and then now we are ready for construction. So if I scroll up here, project tickets, we can see we do have our final design tickets entered in here. And again, when we talk about project planning, talking about designers now, we want to make sure that we're having all of these design tickets entered into Coordinate PA. Starting with our designer, starting with our project owner, enter this basic information, do all of your design, all of your planning work, upload all of that information into Coordinate PA. That way, when it's time to pass the information off to that excavator, they have access to all the info. Everything's in one place, and hopefully that reduces any undue confusion about the particular project. So we have our final design ticket. What I want to do now is go into here and pretend I am the excavator. I'm going to look at the project I have. I'm looking through all the information that may have been uploaded by a designer, and then I'm ready to host my complex project meeting. But looking at this project here, in reality, we're talking about this may pertain to a larger project. This project in particular might not be too large. But if I'm an excavator, I'm looking at this, I want to have my complex project meeting, but I'm going to split this project in half. So maybe I'm going to do the first half, the first part of the summer, and then the second half, the latter half of the summer. So I'm going to have 2 complex project meetings just to make sure everyone knows we're on the same page and they understand the full scope of that work. So in order to do that, I'm going to take advantage of the project phases option we have. Phases have been around for a little bit over the past year, so we can go ahead and create a new phase in here. This pop-up allows us to transfer over all contacts into this phase from our primary project. So we'll hit yes here. And then now if we scroll down, we can see basic information about the phase, kind of like a mini project within the primary project. This is going to ask us for basic information on this particular phase. But just like we would do when we are entering our primary parent polygon here, I'm going to draw a separate polygon, separate project area just for this phase. So we see 2nd Street runs right through the middle here. I'm going to go and split the project in half right at 2nd Street. So I'm going to click once and draw my polygon around this area. And I am clicking outside of that primary project area, and you're going to see why in one moment. I also want to call out here that, as Erica mentioned, we do only have 6 points to which you can draw your map on web ticket entry, but in Coordinate PA, you have unlimited points. So you can be very detailed when it comes to laying out where your project area is. But I'm going to double click here to close this. And then we get this pop up here, invalid geometry because it falls outside of that parent project, but it can be clipped down to our primary polygon. So I'm going to hit yes. And now we have a nice, neat boundary for our phase. So if we're happy with that, we can keep it. If we wanted to change it, delete it, we have some options right here, editing, deleting that boundary, but we're good with that. Where we want to be. So down here, we'll enter the basic info. So phase 1 here, work type. We are replacing water main and services. And down here, our construction dates. These carry over from that primary project detail page. But of course, with phase 1, this is not going to be taking the entire year. So we can step this end date back. Let's just call it maybe this will wrap up at the end of April, April 28th. And if we have any specific phase contacts, we can put them in down here. But for now, we're good. We're going to save this phase. And then we're going to pop up asking us to create a ticket for this phase. So for now, I'm going to say yes, because we're going to put in our complex project meeting ticket here. So this gives us the pop-up for creating a ticket. We are talking about excavation, and we are going to change this ticket class here to complex project meeting, and we will put create ticket. Another pop-up. So if you see this, we are currently in planning. After all, we were designing, doing that preliminary information before excavation began. But now we're talking about excavation. We are moving to in progress, so we can change that status here to yes. All right. So if we move down here, as you can see on our polygon, we're just talking about the phase, not the entire project, just this highlighted area for our first phase. So we're going to put our bounding streets in here. We can put in School Street, Church Street. And then what's that over here? Apple. Well, that's Stonehill Road with that one in there. If you have a 4th one, that can go here as well. Coordinates. If you have any coordinates to go along with that, these are helpful, but if you don't have them, they're not a required field. But if you do, you can throw them in here. And then, of course, we want to check that box marked in white. This is just a meeting, but still not preventing you from going out and marking out that area in white. So that way, when it comes time for that meeting, if you're walking that job with those facility owners who come out for the meeting, they know exactly where you're working and where they're going to need to be marking out those facilities. Any other location information can go in this box here. And then right below, again, we're carrying over our work type. So we have replacing water mains and services. Depth, the 6 feet here, extent of excavation. This leads me into our next new feature. So we now have a measuring tool on here to indicate to us where just how large the extent of our excavation is going to be. So on the left-hand side, you can use either a line or a polygon. So we can go ahead and click on line. And then what we can do, just like we're drawing a polygon here, we can click to start it. And then as we go and we make each new segment, as you can see down here, It gives us a segment length, and then as we add each segment to that, our total length over here will increase. So if you can follow me around the map here, and the segments will go up, and then so will my total length. So just for our purposes here, I know this doesn't encompass every street, but we see we have about 3,200 feet in our extent of excavation. So we can click out of that to close, and then I can now put this in here as my extent. Method of excavation. So whatever method you're using, we're saying digging here, backhoe, will be in the street, public property, probably private property too for those services. It's going to be in the front. We have that. Below that, so moving right along, this will give us by default our first lawful start date. So we have February 1st on here as the first lawful start date. Right here, we're going to have meeting required, and then when that box is checked, we're also going to have below that what the meeting dates are going to be. So keeping in mind that first lawful start date, that's going to be the 10th business day following notification. So with that 10th business day, this drop down here gives you business days 3 through business day 7 to actually host your meeting. So the intention there is that if you're having your meeting on the 27th, for example, on business day 7, you put your first routine dig ticket in on that business day 7. You can start that work by the 10th business day. So this lays it out for you nice and clear as to what those dates are. We don't want to cause any longer delays than necessary. So you have these options here for you to put the meeting date in. Work duration, I think we said this was what, 3 months on this. Then just jumping back to this, we'll go ahead and we'll pick that 27th date. Proposed meeting time, say 9 a.m. 7 is probably too early. Couple options here: in-person meeting, electronic meeting. Of course, electronic meetings are convenient, not just when you're in the midst of a pandemic, but this might be more convenient for if you are out-of-state contractor, for example, and you need to meet with everyone prior to actually getting to PA. But in general, what we see is we have a lot of in-person meetings. So we can check that box right here. And then for meeting location, we want to make sure we're including a specific location, a specific address, be as clear as possible as to where you're meeting. So if we go back to our map, without knowing anything about Rogersville, I'm going to just imagine there's a grocery store here on School Street. So we can go ahead and say right here, meet at Street, 1, 2, 3, Full Street. Maybe even put in there. A lot, be specific, just as long as everyone knows where to go. Below that, you can see we have a grayed out section. The information on here is going to be your information, the person who's putting in this notification. If you have to make changes to your contact information, please make sure you do that before you begin the process of entering notifications. You can do that on our website, pa1call.org, under your account information, but please make sure that is accurate before you start submitting tickets. However, below that, we do have an area that you can change based on that notification. So on-site contact, we want to make sure the person who's put in here for on-site contact is the person who has the most information about this particular part of the work. We don't want to have someone just working in an office, or perhaps you have an intern working for you just entering tickets and they're putting their information here and for on-site contact. If someone were to call, that person may not have the answers that that person needs who's making the call. So please make sure you have a relevant contact in here who has the most information about this particular part of the work. And then likewise below that, all the relevant contact info. If you have a job number, if you have a PennDOT permit number for those state highways and the work taking place there. And then lastly, our remarks section here for any other information. So if we're happy with that and just reviewing everything, make sure we have all of our boxes and everything filled in, we can go ahead and create ticket. And in just a moment, this will give us our temporary reference number. So we'll have that. You can jot that down if you like, but in general, you're going to receive an email follow-up letting you know of that ticket notification, as well as seeing that ticket populate under your list of tickets right here in the project on Coordinate PA. So we'll hit OK there. And then let's see how quick this is. It may take a few moments here. Okay, we'll let it load. So I want to show you one other thing here. So we're still in our phase. We're still talking about this shaded blue section here. But now we have another new feature called phase locations. So again, as an excavator, I have my complex project notification out there. I have my meeting. At that meeting, I'm talking about that markout schedule with all my facility owner locators, having those critical conversations that you need before the work actually begins. And in the midst of those conversations, we come to an agreement that we're going to put each one of these streets in on a single ticket. That's going to be the best plan for those locators. One way that you can be very specific on the map as to where you're working and to providing any additional information about those individual streets is using a phase location. So if I go under phase locations, under the phase itself, click add new location, we're going to bump us back out to the phase itself, and then we can click once again, start drawing, and let's go ahead and start this out on 3rd Street. So it's going to go right around 3rd Street. Take my smaller polygon here, double click to close the box. Now we have that. And location 1, go ahead and call 3rd Street. Work type, facing water main, services, same old stuff there. And then now, once again, with our dates, these dates carried over from the phase. So we are narrowed down to our April timeframe. But of course, this one street won't take that long. So let's go ahead and put in maybe just 4 weeks here for this 1st street. Another thing you can do with this, if you're talking about locations or even phases, so we talked for this project, replacing water mains and services, say maybe phase 1 is going to be doing the mains and then phase 2 is going to be the services. You can also work it that way. You can be specific as to what the work is going on for each of those phases if you're breaking it up that way. So a couple of ways you can take advantage of these features on Coordinate PA. But we're happy here, going to save it. And then again, just like with that phase, we get a pop-up here asking us to make a ticket for this location. So then we can proceed. If I were to hit yes, make this a construction routine ticket, create. And then again, we'll go into our in progress, yes. And then now, just like we saw on Web Ticket Entry 4.0, this is going to be a very similar, if not identical layout to what we have in Web Ticket Entry. So if you can do one, you can do the other. If you've been working in Coordinate PA for a while, then obviously your transition into the new Web Ticket Entry is going to be pretty seamless. And from here, just like you would if you were calling 811 or putting your ticket in online, it's the same information, just put in all the details as to where your work is taking place. And then as you go along, I'm not going to enter this here, but I do want to show you. As we go along here, jump back to our phase. Our ticket there yet? There it is. Perfect. So we can see under our phase, we have our complex project meeting for this particular phase. And if I jump back one more level here to our primary project, as you can see now, we are going to be having those phases and locations detailed for us. And under project tickets, the complex project meeting also carried over to our primary list of tickets as well. So everything should be fairly visible to you. If you're jumping onto a project as an excavator, this is what you want to see. You want to see that order of operations here, starting with design, leading up through your work. Everything's in one spot. And then this will also point you down the rabbit hole a little bit to each phase that may exist. And then likewise to each of those locations listed for you there. And then if I could just jump back one more moment here, go back to our layers. Phases and locations also becomes a layer on here, so you can toggle those on and off based on what you want to see. So that's it. That covers the new features of Coordinate PA. Again, this isn't going to be covering, I didn't intend to cover every little detail here this morning. That's what you have us liaisons for. So please take advantage of that. We are able to assist you anytime that you need. Let me go ahead and stop sharing this, jump back to me.
Before you stop, Brandon, I wanted you to pull that back up if you don't mind.
Do it.
Did you show, and I may have missed it, did you show how to edit a boundary?
Did not show that.
You quickly show that. Now, you can't do that here, so you'll want to...
Yeah.
you just create a new one and show how to edit where it says edit, and you can just move them around. You can even create a new project just to pull it up or a new phase.
Yeah. Sorry, take it in here.
Yep.
You're talking about want to show something like this. We can't change this one.
Right, because you already saved that one, so that cannot be changed.
Yeah. We do something like this, maybe. Then.
And you realize you screwed up.
Right.
Go ahead, hit accept. And then you want to hit update ticket geometry. That's in the phase, so you'll want to actually do it.
Let me back out.
You can update that and cancel the drawing. You'll cancel it and then hit yes. But if you want to update it and actually drag the points like you're thinking, Brandon, in the original project itself, you could actually do that as well. So you can actually pull the points around and drag the points around too. So you don't have to show that now, Brandon. I'm just pulling that up. Can you pull up the map the base layers as well? Yeah, and click Esri imagery. Let me take a second to pull up. But it's the same way. If you have the base layer up, if you go to phases again and then click draw map, you should be able to do it there as well. So that's a question we got in the chat, Brandon. I just want to kind of visually show it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
There's one here. A question for you, Brandon. How long does a facility owner have to respond to an emergency one call? It took 1 hour and 2 minutes to get an emergency one call question. So that's like a record, I think. Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah, yes, it is. All right. So based on what the law says, and we also utilize our user's guide, as Maria hinted at before, but the response time to an emergency ticket is as soon as practicable. But as we detail further in that user's guide, it is expected that at least contact be made with that particular excavator within 2 hours, and then also have a response posted in that time frame as well. But again, going back to that respond time as soon as practicable, which is listed there. And really, as I know we talked about a lot internally, if it comes down to it and someone says, well, I missed an emergency ticket, I was, for whatever reason, we were closed, it was a weekend, whatever it was, you pretty much have to go ahead and defend to yourself what was practicable. Why was that? What was the reasoning behind that delay in responding to the emergency notification? What do you think?
Good. Thank you, Brandon. And how do you request the one call be marked with flags rather than paint due to weather conditions like snow? You would just put that in the remarks field at the bottom of the ticket. All right, Brandon, whenever you're ready.
All right, sounds good. All right, moving on here. Let me get my notes popped back up here. Okay. So we had the question early on about update tickets. So now this kind of gets its own segment. So perhaps you are a excavator and you want to know about update tickets or notified tickets, when you should use those, or if you're on the facility owner side, you're a locator, you're getting these tickets, what exactly should you be doing with them? Here to explain all of that to you is Ryan Parrish. Ryan, take it away.
Thank you, Brandon. Like you mentioned, my name is Ryan Parrish. I'm also one of the premier damage prevention liaisons with PA 811. I cover some of the eastern side counties. I have Berks, Lehigh, Schuylkill, Northampton, and Lebanon. So like Brandon mentioned, I'm going to tell you the difference between re-notify tickets and update tickets. So a re-notify is essentially a retransmit of an existing ticket to advise one or more facility owners of locate-related issues. Now, let me stop right here. If you get to a job site and you're going to notice that there's going to be locate-related issues, this is a good time to pull out your smartphone, your smart device, and start taking pictures. You want to be able to document what's going on so you're able to paint that perfect picture, just in case further down the line, like I said, there's locate-related issues. Maybe these issues are going to eventually lead to alleged violation reports being filed. I think now we're in 2023. We're past the time frame where the only thing we have to capture a scene is a digital camera or a Polaroid. We all should have smart devices or cell phones, even flip phones have decent cameras that's able to kind of capture that scene and see what's going on. So again, a Renotify is a retransmit of that existing ticket to advise one or more facility owners of locate related issues. So again, document if there's going to be any issues, just so in case the PUC investigators need to investigate this, they have that perfect picture for you. So again, the excavator shows up on site. When you show up on site, all excavators that whoever created that ticket, they should get a utility response list that morning of the lawful start date. Hopefully you're bringing that utility response list with you to the field and you're sharing that with your team, because it's going to say that there's some gas. If a gas company came in field marked, if a water company came in field marked, then I would expect to notice some yellow lines or some blue lines or blue flags, yellow flags in our area or proposed excavation area. So if you're excavating and you notice anything unmarked or incorrectly marked, this is the time where you can re-notify those facility owners. And how do you do that? Again, let's run through it. It's upon your initial arrival to the work site, you discover that something's unmarked or incorrectly marked. Say you have your proposed excavation area maybe next to a sewer or manhole or a fire hydrant, and you're expecting to see some green paint or some blue paint, you see nothing. So you call 811, you request to re-notify the facility owner or owners. It's actually a requirement in the law. If you notice that something's messed up, or something that could potentially be hazardous to your team, I want to dig. Again, if you notice something's messed up, don't start digging. It's actually a requirement in the law. And again, if you have to re-notify, it's not going to be a new ticket, just that version of the ticket will increment and change. So the first time you notify will be version 1, second time version 2, version 3, version 4. Each time you increment, it will increase that number. So again, the excavator calls the one-call center. Again, Maria mentioned our one-call center is out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and West Mifflin. And they're asking you these qualifying questions. Again, just make sure you have that serial number so they're able to reference what job you're referring to. The one-call center will ask you these qualifying questions just to make sure to see how that facility owner needs to respond to you. Again, we're a positive response state, so we have to respond to all notifications through the one-call system. So these are just qualifications for that facility owner to make direct contact with you. Again, if your crew is currently on site, the excavation has not started, and its original ticket was a routine, then that facility owner should be making direct contact with you to discuss the job. And this will actually be in the header of the ticket when the customer service representatives send that re-notify over to the facility owner. So again, you will be asked these 3 qualifying questions. Is this your initial arrival to the work site? And this is our customer service representative that will be asking you this. Is this your initial arrival to the work site? Is the site unmarked or incorrectly marked? You want to answer yes to both of those. Has the excavation started? No. You're saying this job site is has incorrectly marked or something's unmarked that you guys can't even start working. It's an unsafe site. You don't want your crew to work. You want everybody to come home as they came in that day, nice and safe. So the excavation, has it started? No. And again, the serial number was not changed. The version of the ticket would just increment with each successive re-notify. So version 1, version 2, version 3. And again, when you re-notify, you're agreeing not to dig until that facility owner makes contact with you. As I mentioned, as the excavator, you agree not to dig until that facility owner reaches out to you. And I'll talk about direct contact in a second. That one-call center asks you those qualifying questions, and then it sends that re-notification to that facility owner, and then that facility owner will receive that re-notification. And how they respond to you is based on those options that you gave that customer service representative. So the facility owner will make direct contact with you if the crew is currently on site, the excavation has not started, and the original ticket was a routine ticket. And like I said, in the header of the ticket, it will say direct contact required within 2 hours, yes. So if they need to if you're re-notifying and they need to make direct contact with you, they have to do that within 2 hours. And they don't do that within 2 hours. By that 3rd hour, you can legally dig, but you're expected to use prudent techniques. And I'll explain that again in a second. So if that facility owner, what's the criteria for that facility owner not to make direct contact? If that facility doesn't need to make direct contact with you, they have to respond based on their own company's policy. So if these conditions are not met, if the crew is currently not on site, the excavation's already started. You're saying these markings were good enough to get to get started, but potentially in the direction that you're headed, there could be some type of mismark or some error with the locating that you see that you really would like to have that facility owner to come back out or reach out to you to discuss what's going on. And again, if the original ticket was routine, the excavation has not started yet and the crew's currently on site. If these conditions are not met, then they need to just respond based on their own company policy. And it'll say in the header of the ticket, direct contact with the excavator required within 2 hours. No, they're going to have to respond based on their own company policy. If you guys are actively working, this wasn't a routine ticket, and your crew's not on site. So let me tell you what's the same between them. Re-notify with direct contact and re-notify without direct contact. They're essentially, you're saying your site has unmarked or incorrectly marked lines at your proposed excavation area. It's the same ticket, just a new version of that ticket will change each time you do it. Version 1, version 2, version 3. And let me tell you what's different between re-notify with direct contact and without direct contact. So with direct contact, as I mentioned, it's your initial arrival to the work site. You must re-notify upon your initial arrival because you're saying there's something wrong with those markings, something's mismarked. Hey, I'm right near a fire hydrant. I should be seeing some blue lines. I don't see anything. Again, if this happens, you re-notify. You haven't started yet. It's your initial arrival. The facility owner needs to make direct contact within 2 hours. And making direct contact, they're usually going to try to call the on-site contact, as Brandon mentioned, and hopefully that on-site contact is somebody that's a supervisor in the field. You're going to call John and Casey in the field, not Beth and Jamie out in the office that can't really handle anything. You want to be able to have somebody that's a competent person that's able to make decisions about that job site. So usually the supervisors are the on-site contacts, so hopefully their information's there, and that facility owner is reaching out to them by making direct contact. That's coming to physically meet them, talking to them on the phone, FaceTime, Skype, any of the virtual platforms that you could think of. That would be sufficient. Just make sure they're making direct contact and you guys are actually communicating and talking about this job site so that everything can get rectified and the excavators can dig and be safe. As I mentioned, everybody wants to go home the way they came in, nice and safe. So re-notifying without direct contact, the excavator is actively working on a work site. The excavator can re-notify with locate related issues. The facility owner will respond based on their own company policy. And again, I don't know each individual company's policy, so that's going to be based on, like I said, their company. So now the facility owner made direct contact with the excavator. You guys set up a meeting. Maybe there's a bid and cheat sheets you guys want to know. You met in the parking lot. Wherever it is, he came, talked to you in person, FaceTime, Skype. That facility owner now responds clear or marked in the call system. In positive response state, we have to respond to everything through the one call system. Now they're responding clear, or they responded marked that they came out and put the field markings down on the ground. Since you already notify, I'm going to start taking a bunch of pictures. This is just me making sure that I'm going to have everything covered on my end. I'm going to act like a crazy paparazzi and I'm going to start snapping pictures all over the place to make sure I'm able to document that everything got marked out properly. Again, our one call center, they document this communication between the facility owner and excavator, and now the excavation work can begin. The work can begin as scheduled. Now, what if the facility owner does not make direct contact within 2 hours? He doesn't respond clear, the field positive, he's not respecting the positive response state. The excavator, as I mentioned, you guys re-notify. They should respond to you within 2 hours. But they don't respond to you by that third hour, you guys can dig. So after 3 hours, you must exercise due care and prudent techniques when you're digging. Just make sure you guys are being safe. You're going to be working within that tolerance zone, especially without any markings to indicate where it is. Just make sure you guys are going to be using due care and prudent techniques in your work. And you are encouraged to submit a alleged violation report. Again, this is a violation of the one call law. If you don't respond, it's not helping everybody be safe, and it can result in fines. So let's take a quick look at ticket stats. As you can see, since 2018, we've been close to 1 million tickets. Even during the pandemic, we took close to 1 million tickets. So people are calling. People are trying to get their job sites safe and secure, marked out, so everybody's safe and they can go home how they came in. Again, as you can see, we took over 1 million tickets. Even during the pandemic, it was close to 1 million. So like I said, people are calling. So thank you for that. As you see, in 2021, we took over 1 million tickets. and over close to 200,000 of those were update tickets. The updates was 16.9% of the total notifications in 2021. So again, there are reasons why you have to update your ticket. Update is not a re-notify, which I'll explain to that. You can say, if your markings get compromised or eliminated, I know when I was younger, I was guilty. I used to take flags out of the ground, not understanding the repercussions of doing that. Again, if someone's taking flags out of your ground and your job sites, the markings aren't preserved anymore, and then maybe that's the reason why your job site had to stop. Or maybe equipment moved off site for more than 2 business days, then you're going to have to also update that ticket. But the problem is the work not started. So is this a planning issue? If work's not started, why are you updating your ticket? So we have a lot of escalator. I won't say a lot of escalator. There are some companies that are updating their ticket just kind of to make sure that your job site always stays open. This is actually abuse of the one call system. We only want you to update your ticket for a certain list of reasons, which I'll explain to that. We don't want you to keep your job updating your job site just so the ticket can stay open for however long that you need it. So you should only be planning, as Marcos mentioned, you should only be planning your work that you can reasonably get to, not putting a bunch of food on your table that you know you're not going to be able to eat. So just make sure you're planning your work that you know that you're reasonably going to get to, so you don't have to constantly keep updating your ticket. Because when you update your ticket, it's going to let that facility owner know that they have to come out and mark their facilities again if they have it. And they're constantly coming out, rolling a truck. Gas is expensive. They're going to have to pay for somebody to get in the truck and go out and locate. The loaded labor rate's not cheap. So again, just please make sure you're planning work that you know you're going to get to, so we're not constantly sending facility owners out on wild goose chases. So let's take a look at those update tickets. Again, an update ticket is not required to update your ticket every 10 business days on an active work site. If your markings are preserved and your equipment has not moved off site to more than 2 business days, then your job site stays open. There's no need to keep updating that. Again, you can request facility owners to mark their markings again. As I mentioned, if one of those crazy kids came around and ripped those flags out of the ground, your markings have been compromised or eliminated, that's fine. You can update that ticket. But again, you will have to stop working. It is another 3-day business notice is required. It's essentially, it's almost like a new ticket, but it's just an update ticket. It will reference the previous serial number. But you can request again for facility owners to mark their work again if work did not begin within the lawful start date. Again, it's another 3-day business notice, and this is going to be an update ticket. So there's only 2 valid reasons for you to update your ticket. If the previous markings have been compromised or eliminated, those crazy kids came and they ripped those flags out of the ground. Again, if you're having that situation, you're in a neighborhood where the flags keep getting ripped out of the ground, maybe you should put some paint down also, just increase your chances. Put some paint and flags down just so they rip the flags out of the ground, the paint's still there, so that job site still has their markings. And if the work did not begin within that original lawful start date. But then those are the 2 valid reasons to update your ticket. And the result of the update ticket, as I mentioned, is listed in the header section of the ticket. The remark section of the ticket has the serial number on the ticket being updated. And a new serial number is assigned. It's going to reference the original serial number, just so you know what job site that is referencing or referring to. So as you can see, I'll tell you what's different between update the marks compromised or eliminated and update work did not start. Escalator did not start work as described on the original ticket, and the site will need marks to be examined or remarked as necessary. So marks compromised or eliminated. The escalator is actively working on the work site. Site has compromised marked on an active. The site has compromised marked on an active work site. Again, these are just the differences between marks compromised and eliminated and work did not start. So let's see what's the same between those. As you can see, the escalator can update the ticket when needed. An update, it is a new ticket. It's going to have that 3-day business window, and the remarks will reference the previous serial number. So that's essentially the difference between re-notify and update. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat box, and I'll kick this over to you, Brandon.
Thank you very much, Ryan. I didn't see anything specific come in about that. Did we, Marcos?
Yeah, we got a couple. I've been messing with the Q&A a little bit, so you may not have seen it. But one, it would seem that if a site is actively being worked, then many times you would need to have a direct contact within 2 hours. If you are actively working on a site, you are telling everyone that the markings are sufficient enough for you to continue to work on that work site or start the work on that work site. That's why the question when it says, is this the original, is this your original, when you just showed up at the work site, is asked, have you just showed up to the work site? Because we want you to know, hey, has the work started? No. If the work has started, like I said, you're literally telling us, hey, the work has started because our markings are sufficient. If you get to a point, there's a lot of times we run into this where you get to a point of there's a 1,000-foot job, and I've worked the first 500 feet for the last 2 weeks. I get to the next 500 feet and my markings aren't sufficient. Well, maybe you should have broke that ticket up, or maybe you should have only called the 500 feet in first and then the next 500 feet in again in the next 2 weeks, because then you're going to have to update that ticket to get fresh markings. So you want to monitor your work site, make sure your markings are still good for your use. If you think you're going to need more markings ahead of time, place a new ticket or update the ticket for that specific area. Brandon, there are a couple more coming in, I think. I did get a question about copies of the actual slideshows that we're using. We may be able to get you write-ups or training specific to what we're talking about. So yeah, definitely contact your local liaison for that. We may be able to get you the proper write-ups for the differences between the two things, or anything that we say today. Shouldn't be a problem at all. We may not give you the slides in general, but we can give you some write-ups and some information for that. I did get a question, what about updating a design ticket? Yeah, you can update a design ticket. The same you would update a normal ticket. If you're running out of days, or you're past your 90 days in your final design and you think you need to update that, you can go ahead and update that notification as well. Brandon, one more second here. If a facility owner enters an emergency one call and we go and mark it, how long is our marking good for if the facility owner that placed the PO1 call doesn't perform that day? In an emergency notification, if you're calling in an emergency, if you're an excavator calling in an emergency, you tell us this is when we're starting the emergency, you should be starting the emergency at that time. There's a reason you're calling in an emergency notification. You should be calling that in for the time that you're working. If there's a situation where that time is going to be changed, you need to place another notification. But the reason for emergencies is because you can't wait. It meets the definition of an emergency, and that time needs to be an accurate notification, an accurate time, so the locators can get out there in time and effectively mark your work area. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, good questions keep coming, so that's awesome.
Good, yeah.
All right, next up, special guest speaker for you all. Tim Kamoff is one of our member services representatives, and he's going to be covering the member database verification process. So it is that time of year. We're sending out emails requesting updated information through that member database verification. And also, that's a key part of our liaison member calls to all of our members. So Tim is going to take us through that process. And Tim, whenever you are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Thank you, Brandon. My name is Tim Kamoff. I am a member services representative here at Pennsylvania One Call System. And I'm going to speak with you a little bit about the member database verification process and our member database verification application available on our website. So why do we ask you to look at your member database verification? It's so that we have the most recent and accurate contact information for each of our facility owner member companies. It's actually in the law as part of the facility owner members' responsibilities. According to Section 2, Clause 2 of the Underground Utility Line Protection Law, states that it shall be the duty of each facility owner to provide the one-call system within 5 business days with any revised information required under this section. So anytime that there is any changes that need to be made for your company, you want to let us know as soon as possible, especially within 5 business days of any changes that are needed. Okay, so I am going to share my screen here and show you a little bit of the member database verification application on our website. So this is the application page on our website. You'll see the member database verification application here. If you do not have this on your web account, you may need to request it from us. We would just need authorization from your company representative. If you are still aren't able to get that, you need a copy of it, you can always request from our member services department. We can send you like a hard copy, a PDF, however you want to receive it, so you can take a look at it and make any updates that you need. Okay, so I'm going to open the member database verification application here. So the CDC field, that is your call directing code, your member code. Each of our members has like a 2 or 3 character code that we use to identify each of our members. So in this case, we're going to use our test code here, which is QQQ. Under the review column, you'll see a button that says view QQQ data. So yours would say whatever your CDC is, view the data. Click on that button, and that is going to load the database verification application or form. Sorry. You'll take a look at that, or the information that's on there. If everything looks correct to you, you would click on the I verify no changes button, and that would send a note to us to let us know that you do not need any changes at this time. If you do have changes to be made, you're going to click on the Start Change Form button, and then that will bring you into your company, onto the company information section. So in the member up here, you would have like your company name in the member name field, company legal name. We don't have anything in there, but your company names would be in there. If you have a tax ID, you can enter that there. If you have a doing business as name, you can enter that in the DBA field. And then your company legal address, you would enter that information there. Okay, the next section down is the facility types. You'd start with your primary facility type. For our example here, we use gas. And then underneath each some of the facility types, we have sub-facility types. We want to kind of specify what kind of sub-facility types you have for those facilities. Sub-facility types would fall under electric, gas, pipeline, sewer, and water. So gas, you see some of the sub-facility types there. If I check electric, you would see distribution, service lines, street lighting cables, transmission. If you're not sure what those mean, you can hover on the question mark icon over here, and a definition will pop up. It'll show you the definition of each of those sub-facility types. You can take a look at it. So you see electric, distribution, service lines, street lighting cables, and transmission. There's a definition for each one of those, and then you would select which one is the most appropriate for the facilities that you own. Okay, next section down, you would fill in some of your contact information. So the company representative, each company has one company representative. This person is designated the single point of contact for us to communicate with, and this person must be an employee of the member company. So if you have an agent company that you use for locates, you can't put somebody from that agent company as your company representative. It has to be somebody with that facility owner company. Also, the company representative, it should be, again, the main point of contact that we can get a hold of for any questions, requests, updates that we need for the member company. It does not have to be a board member or supervisor or anything like that. It just has to be the main person that we can contact if we need any information. So in this case, we have Donna Williams as our company representative. If all that information looks fine, then you can just move on to the next field. Say that you would like to make some changes here. What you would want to do is just update the information. So just for example, I'm just going to put my name in here. So I'm the company representative. So if I made a change there, listed myself as the company representative, I would also want to make sure to update any of the other contact information on here to match my contact information, because if we leave it as is and we just put my name on there, it's still going to have all of Donna's information. So they may be calling Donna's phone number or emailing Donna or trying to reach me because we did not update any of the information. So it's very important that you also update the information within the field when you're changing the contacts if they have different contact information. So I would want to update the email address to my email address and telephone number, whatever it may be, if you need to make changes there. Okay, next field down is the receiving site delivery information field. This field talks about the delivery addresses where you receive your one-call notification. So you can select over here to receive by email, fax, or if you do web view delivery, to view your tickets online through our online ticket management application. The primary delivery address is the address where you receive your notifications. So you'd want to have your email address there or a fax number. do you use an agent? So if you have an agent company that receives your one call notifications, excuse me, or receives or responds to your one call notifications. If you do, you would want to put yes, type the agent company name in there. If you use a ticket management system software to parse your one call notifications that you receive, you could hit yes. There will be a list of companies that we are used regularly. If they're not on that list there, you can just put other and then type in that company name there. One thing I did want to mention about the delivery address, we get this question a lot. We can only have one address listed as a delivery address, one email address, one fax number. We can't deliver to multiple email addresses at this time. So what you'd want to do, the best thing we always say to do is either you can set up an auto forward rule on your end, so that the person who is receiving the one call notifications, they can have the emails automatically forwarded from that email address to disperse to whoever else in the company you want those notifications to go to. Or you can, establish a general or shared email address that multiple people within your company can access in order to view and receive those one call notifications. So there's good solutions there if you want multiple people to be receiving the one call notifications. Okay, the next field down here is the receiver primary contact. The receiver primary contact is should be a person that's responsible for receiving the one call notifications. It's the person we call if we are unable to deliver the tickets to the receiver site. So say if there was an error with the fax, or we're getting like bounce backs from the emails, when we notice the one calls aren't going through to you, this is the person that we're going to call to get that situation resolved, either to switch you to a different fax number or a different email address so that we can get those one calls to you. Next field down is the company billing contact. This person is responsible for receiving and paying invoices from us. So you would fill in all their information there. Also in the company billing contact field, you'll notice there's a section that says receiving invoices via email. If you put no, then you're going to get your invoices through the mail. We'll send you physical mail. If you put yes, then we would receive, you can put the email addresses where you want the invoices to go to. You can also add a CC email address. And then if you want, there's a PO number field here where you can add a purchase order number. Just wanted to mention as well, there are 3 required fields for contacts. That is the company representative, the receiver primary contact, and the company billing contact. Those 3 are required contacts. We have to have somebody in each of those fields. The billing contact or the receiver primary contact, if you don't have a specific person, we can just put like office personnel. Company representative, we have to have somebody's name there. But in all fields, we would like to have a specific person if possible. Okay, next field down is your normal working hours. So these are your hours of operation. Those indicate when the receiving site is staffed. The default hours we list are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday if the office is not staffed regularly. So again, these are not hours specifically when you're in the office. These are the hours when the one call notifications are being regularly monitored. So again, if you're only in the office, say Monday and Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., we don't want to just list you open on Monday and Wednesday and closed all the other days and just have you Monday 9 to 1. We still want to list you as open Monday to Friday 8 to 4 because you really should be monitoring the one call notifications at least during those times. See here. The next section down is for holidays. So the legal holidays, they're designated by the Pennsylvania State General Assembly, and they're not used in the calculation of the 3 business days when a one call request is placed. Tickets taken on those days are processed the same as a Saturday or Sunday. If you're staffed on any of those days, you'll be shown as open with your hours of operation. The system holidays cannot be deleted. If your office is closed, you would just need to update the open and close time to be 0000. If your office is open, you would just set the time to your standard office hours. And then member holidays or other days your receiving site is not staffed and they do not impact the 3 business day notice. So legal holidays, if we haven't heard, like Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Independence Day, Labor Day, and so on, you would, so let's use President's Day as an example. That is a legal holiday. So we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So our hours are listed as 0000 to 23:59. But say we wanted to list the office as being closed for President's Day, you would just want to change the close time to say 0000 also, and then that would let us know that you were closed on President's Day. Switch that back. Okay. If you wanted to delete, so some of these holidays, they're not considered legal holidays. So if you want to use Easter Monday, your office is not closed on Easter Monday. That's not a legal holiday. That can be deleted. So you can click on the X here, and it will say delete holiday. Would you like to request deletion? Yes, you can delete that request. We'll close that. If you have any other holidays that you need to add and they're not on the list here, you can click this plus button to add the holiday. Put in the date, the name of the holiday for whatever reason you're closed that day, and then the hours, or if you're closed all day that day, and that would submit the request to let us know that we need to add that holiday for you. Okay, your notification areas are the areas of the counties and municipalities where you own and operate underground facilities, and it shows the notification level in each place and municipality. Notification level is either by municipality or the member company has mapped their facilities within the municipality, and notification is done on a smaller geographic area. So if it says on there by municipality, that means the member receives all tickets in the municipality. So if it's said on there, for example, Allegheny County, West Mifflin Borough, and in parentheses, it said by municipality, that means that you would be receiving all notifications, all tickets that are in West Mifflin Borough. If it said facilities are mapped, that means the member receives only tickets within the boundaries created and activating using POX's member web mapping in each municipality. So if it said, again, Allegheny County, West Mifflin Borough, and it said facilities are mapped, then you're only going to receive the notifications that are in Allegheny County and West Mifflin Borough in the areas that you have mapped based on the data in the member mapping application on our website. So continuing on, some more contact fields, the company representative supervisor. From time to time, we send letters of appreciation to the supervisor of our member companies to acknowledge contributions made by their designated company representative. The company representative supervisor cannot be the same person that's listed as the company representative above. That also holds true for the company alternate representative. That cannot be the same person that's listed as the company representative. The company representative supervisor and the company alternate representative can be the same person, but neither of those can also be listed as the main company representative. Okay, next field down are some telephone numbers that are referred to others. So a customer service number. If somebody calls in and they need to get a hold of somebody in your company, you can list a company service department number, company emergency responder contact name and number, a damage line referral name, and telephone number. So that would be given out if a damage or exposed line ticket was placed. We would refer them to that person, department, and telephone number that you provide there in the case of a damage or an exposed line. Disaster response coordinator is the person to be contacted in the event of a natural disaster for coordination purposes with utilities, contractors, and emergency management agencies. The company alternate representative is an alternate contact used when the company representative is not available. Again, this person cannot be the same person that was listed as the main company representative. This person would be contacted if we aren't able to get a hold of that main company representative. This would be the alternate. AVR contact, this is a new field that we added just last year. The AVR contact is will be referred to the Public Utility Commission for contact on an alleged violation report involving your company. In the future, this contact will be notified when an AVR is filed involving a ticket your company received. An AVR is filed for instances when a person, by action or inaction, fails to fulfill their obligations as defined by PA Act 287 of 1974 as amended by Act 50 of 2017. So if there's an incident and a report is filed, this would be the person to contact in your company that the Public Utility Commission would contact. Mapping contact is the person responsible for mapping or GIS within your organization. This person is going to receive notices regarding our mapping system changes. So this would be the person we would contact that either uploads or draws the mapping data within our member mapping application to kind of narrow down the scope of where your facilities are located so that you're only receiving notifications based on where your facilities are located rather than for entire municipalities. Company safety director is the person at your company is responsible for training your employees in construction safety matters. Company public relations contact is the person responsible for developing and or publishing educational and informational materials for consumers. And then the receiver alternate contact is called when the receiver primary contact is unavailable. So again, the receiver primary contact is who we would contact about receiving the one call notifications, or if there was an error message with the one calls not going through. The receiver alternate contact is who we would call if we couldn't get a hold of that receiver primary contact. Receiver locate complaints is referred when callers are reporting inaccurate or incomplete markouts. So if somebody calls in a re-notification, you can list this person. There's a telephone number for us to refer to them to contact to follow up with. And then the receiver design contact is given to designers who want to mail their plans. Okay, next section down is for supplemental services. Their options are voice call outs and also text messages. These are for emergency or damage notifications. The voice call outs, there are 3 different options for the voice call outs. You can do after hours, so outside of your office hours, calls can be made for emergency one call notifications. After hours damage, again, it would be outside of your office hours when a damage ticket's placed, or during hours damage, which is a damage ticket is placed during your office hours, we'd still make the call. The first attempt is made by our automated system, our Carl system, and there is a charge of $2.60 for that. And then if we are unable to contact you via the automated system, an additional attempt is made by our call center personnel, and there's a charge of $5.55 for each additional call. You can list up to 5 people in each section for the voice call outs. Text messages are also a great option for receiving emergency notifications. Text messages you can get anytime, they're 24 hours a day for any emergency notification. So there's a great option. And there's a charge of 50 cents per text message transmitted. So if you have one person listed here and one person's receiving a text, it's a charge of 50 cents. If you add another person, it would be $1. So 50 cents per person for each emergency notification that's transmitted. And then additional copy site rules down here. This is if you have an additional copy site set up where additional copies of one call notifications would be sent to for different scenarios. If you had an emergency tickets going to another address, or insufficient tickets you wanted to go, or design tickets to go to a different area, you would have them sent there. A few things I did want to mention again. Again, the only required fields that you need for contacts are the company representative, the receiver primary contact, and the company billing contact. Again, make sure that the person's contact information is updated. If you're changing that person, if you're changing the contact, make sure that the contact information in all the fields is entered specific to that person that was updated. Don't just leave the information the same. Otherwise, it's all going to be the same as as the previous person's was listed there, and we may have incorrect contact information for the new contact. And then also, please make sure that the person's contact information is the same in each field as far as their title, phone, fax numbers, email address. So for the same person, so say I'm listed here as the company representative, and then I'm also listed as the receiver primary contact. You want to make sure that my telephone number in this field is the same as is listed down here. We don't want to list my phone number as one thing in this field and then something different down here. We need to have the same information, same contact information for the same person in each field. The other thing I did want to mention, though, is you will not see the changes that you requested made right away. We have 5 business days to follow up or make any of the changes that you requested. So if you go in here and you make changes, you're not going to see the updates happen right away. We'll get to them as soon as possible. But again, we do have 5 business days to follow up with those. Okay, that's all I have for right now. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer those at this time.
Yeah, Tim, we got one here for sure. Where do you receive or how do you receive a CDC or a call directing code?
So a call directing code is established whenever you sign up to become a facility owner member with us. We'll try to match the code as close as we can to your company name, whatever's available. We just try to pick a 2 or 3 letter or number code that's as close to your company name as possible. But that's when you get it, is when you sign up to become a facility owner member.
Good, and this is the facility owner member means they're actually receiving notifications. If you're placing one calls, yeah, you may call yourself a member. You pay a membership fee for the year, but it's a different type of membership. I did get a couple I'm going to tackle here. One of them was any suggestions on companies or ways to actively or effectively mark out traffic signal lines. For the most part, municipalities are responsible for those traffic loops. We do have private locating companies on our website listed if you're looking to do a private locate. Determine whether their communications are orange. Some of them do have electricity in them, electric around them. You may have to do red as well. But we do have private locating options in Pennsylvania you can look at if you don't know exactly, if you don't tackle them yourselves. Another question was, will this be on Teams afterwards? We will actually have a recording ready for you all within the next week or so, week or two. Of this is being recorded. We're going to clean it up a little, make it a little more user friendly, and put it on our YouTube channel and stuff like that. So you'll be able to see that here in the next couple of weeks as well if you missed anything. Tim, I think that was all for you in your section. That means that you ran through it great, and I think you did a great job. So thank you for joining us this morning. Again, Tim's not an actual liaison. He's with the member services group, and they do a wonderful job. If you need anything with your account or anything like that, they'll be happy to help.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Marcos. Thank you. Now we move on to our last couple sections here. So in just a few short months, it's going to be April. That means Safe Digging Month. So Blair Pro is going to dive into that for us. And then after that, she's going to pass off the torch to Kevin Goldblum, who's going to be touching on all of our upcoming programs for this year, including Safety Day. So Blair, lead us off.
Well, good morning, everyone. Like Brandon said, my name is Blair Pro. I am the North Central Damage Prevention Liaison for Pennsylvania One Call. I'm going to talk to you this morning about Safe Digging Month and explain to you what proclamations are. So from the recent 2021 DIRT report, which is published by the Common Ground Alliance, or the CGA that some people may know it as, this is a member-driven association committed to raising the public's awareness of underground safety. This is an analysis of over 500,000 damages and near-miss events. What is shown by the graph from the DIRT report are the reported damages by root cause group. It also indicates that damage prevention is a shared responsibility and root causes are fairly even distributed among excavator and locator groups. Statistical models used for 3-year trend analysis point to an overall plateau or slight increase in damages since 2019. Digging without notification to the 811 center, excavators failing to pothole and failing to maintain sufficient clearance, and buried facilities not being marked or being marked inaccurately due to locator error and or incorrect facility owner records and maps are the primary root causes of damages to buried facilities year after year. Did you know that President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure deal is going to affect every one of us in Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania is set to receive about $13.2 billion over 5 years in federal funding for highways and bridges. We're also set to receive about $100 million to help ensure high-speed internet coverage across the state, as well as about $240 million to provide clean and safe water. We're going to receive about $3.2 billion over 5 years to improve public transit across the state, as well as about $171.5 million over 5 years to support the expansion of electric vehicle charging in Pennsylvania. We're also set to receive about $3.5 billion in investment in weatherization to improve energy efficiency of all homes and lower energy costs for impacted households, as well as about $119 million for airports and $110 million for ports. $953 million has been allocated for infrastructure resilience, as well as $349 million has been allocated to Pennsylvania for legacy pollution cleanup. So at Pennsylvania 811, we declare April as National Safe Digging Month. Safe Digging Month is an awareness initiative sponsored by Pennsylvania 811 for the entire month, which serves as a reminder to all excavators and homeowners to call 811 at least 3 business days before you dig, so that the approximate location of their underground utility lines can be identified and marked by facility owners. The call before you dig process helps to prevent injuries, property damage, and inconvenient utility outages and fines. So in a few short weeks, your damage prevention liaison is going to send you an email with the following templates that I'm going to show you shortly. The templates are going to be available in a Microsoft Word document. And what you're going to be able to do is fill in the green areas. You're going to be able to edit the document to change the font color, style, and type to your preference. And if you send them back to us and we receive them before the end of April, we're going to be able to post them on our social media channels. A proclamation is submitted by your county commissioners proclaiming April as Safe Digging Month. A resolution is a document submitted by your municipality or your township, and a letter of support is submitted by any company who supports Pennsylvania's 811's mission to prevent damage to underground facilities and recognizes April as Safe Digging Month. Last year, in 2022, we received over 100 proclamations, letters of support, and resolutions. Will you join us this year in promoting April as Safe Digging Month? Next up, we have Kevin Goldblum discussing our 2023 Safety Days, programs, and webinars.
Thank you very much, Blair. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. There we go. I hope everyone can see that. Again, my name is Kevin Goldblum, Damage Prevention Liaison in the South Central region of Pennsylvania. Everyone did such a great job today. I hope you enjoyed their programs. I think I get the easy part here. I'm just the hype guy, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of our upcoming programs. So if you enjoyed all the education you got today, I have great news for you. We have a lot more in-depth education coming up in the near future. So as you can see, I have my website up right now. If you don't know where that is, it's pa1call.org, but I get a sneaky suspicion you do know where that is since you signed up for this class today. Now, I'm just going to scroll right down to the bottom and look for Safety Day. I hope you've all been to our Safety Days before. If you haven't, this year would be a great time for your first time. It's really a great event. There we have vendors, we have educational classes, both from damage prevention liaisons and people outside that are in the digging industry. There is a lot to learn. So, of course, you're going to ask me when, where are these programs at? Well, we have 5 this year. We're going back to Drexel Hill on May 16th. 2 days later, back to Allentown on May 18th. Then we're going to go to my favorite, because it's my area. June 15th is in York, so hope to see you there. We're going back to Cranberry. We haven't been there in years. And actually, Cranberry was the largest back in the day attendance-wise that we've ever had. If memory serves me correctly, at one of them, we had like 1,200 people show up to that one. So if you're from the Pittsburgh area, check the one out on August 10th. And finally, September 14th is a perfect time to go and visit State College, Pennsylvania. As a Penn Stater myself, I can tell you it's beautiful up there that time of the year. Come join us for our first ever safety day in State College. So let me talk a little bit more about these safety days. First of all, we're looking for presentations. So we have this call of presentations out. Anything that you can think of that you would think would help benefit the people of one call, contact us. Contact myself, contact another liaison, or just email your idea to contact@pa1call.org. It's right there. It can be anything that you can think of: subsurface utility engineering presentations, HDD, anything that has to do with safety or new technology, coordinate PA testimonials. If you can think of it and you think it might be a good idea, email us, call us, and we'll see if we can't get you on the program. And we'd love to have you for any one of or all of the safety days if possible. Next up, I want to talk about, we have sponsorship opportunities. This is how we make the whole thing go. We have all kinds of levels for you. Starting, we have platinum up at 5,000, and we go all the way down to bronze and 1,000 right here. There's all kinds of different things that you can check out on this page to see what they offer. If you'd like to put a little more money into it, you can see it's 10,000 for the neck wallet, 7,500 for the best practice guides. If you want us to build you a package just for you and your company, we'll do that too. We'll pretty much do anything you want to do. Just tell us what you're thinking, and we can work with you to make that happen. Just don't be shy. Give us a ring. Next up, our keynote speaker this year is named Jack Johnson. I was lucky enough to go to a program in Arizona last year and see him give 2 different presentations, and this guy is amazing. He'll have you from the first word. His presentation that he is giving is called 10 Feet Tall and Bulletproof. You can see right here, there's the blurb that talks about what it is, but he is a dynamic speaker and not to be missed. Another neat event that we have is the Global Locate Masters Tournament. Do you think that you're the best locator in the area? Well, I think it's time to prove it. Come on over, sign up for it, and you can show how good you are. You'll get scored, and the top 3 scorers at each event all get gift cards or prizes. We'll give you something. And why not show off your skills and then get a round of applause in front of the whole group at the end? It's great. You want to be an exhibitor with us? Usually our exhibitors come back year after year and they sign up quickly. So if you want to be an exhibitor with us, let us know and we will get you signed up right away. You can see right here, these are the deadline dates. There are some early bird dates too. So really the sooner you get your information in, the cheaper it is going to be for you. So let's save some money. Sign up right now. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk about with all of our safety days. Again, it's a really great time. We typically have anywhere from 300 to 600 people that show up. All the damage prevention liaisons are there. This is a great time to ask us questions one-on-one. And our president, Bill Kiger, there, he has his own booth called Meet the President. And he would love to talk about PA One Call with you. And this just gives you a good chance to talk one-on-one with him too. So if you haven't been to One Call's safety days before, come on this year. And if you have, I know you're going to be there anyway because you had a great time. Also, don't let me forget to say, everyone gets a free lunch too. All right. So beyond the safety days, what else do we have going on? Well, on the top of my website right here, it says events. Click on events. And we have all kinds of webinars like this and live programs coming your way. If you want to see them, we're going to make it real easy for you. I'm going to click first on webinar, click my find button, and you can see every webinar that's coming up. As you see, 2 to 3 every single month on a whole variety of topics. You want to know about Coordinate PA and complex projects? We have that. Designer obligations, online ticket management. We'll talk about the brand new Web Ticket Entry 4.0. They're all about 45 minutes to an hour long. You'll get a one-on-one with one of us damage prevention liaisons. We all take turns doing it. And again, it gives you a chance to ask questions right there on the spot. We use live program website where you can see us walk through each application that the topic is about, and we'll show you how it's done. I mean, that's the way I learn. I like to see things being done firsthand. They're all very good programs. And then if you're more of someone who wants to see something live in person, we got that for you too. We're going to type in the word programs right here. And you can see all throughout the state, we got designer, locator, and excavator program. So depending on what type of stakeholder you are, we have the program for you. And because there's 9 of us liaisons throughout the Pennsylvania, and each one are going to do 3 in the spring and 3 in the fall, that's 27 coming up for you this spring. So there's probably one that's close by to where you are. Please, all you have to do is go and sign up online. Again, it's free, and we always provide a free meal for you. The designer programs are at lunchtime. You're going to get a lunch. The locator programs are from 8:30 till noon with a lunch provided after that. And then, of course, we have the excavator programs. We typically have those in the morning, and we serve a nice breakfast for you with that. So please come on out. I'll just make a mention of mine since I'm speaking about it. But if you're a designer out there, I have one in Lancaster and Shady Maple. If you've never been to Shady Maple, it's got the biggest buffet you've ever seen. Please come check it out. If you've been there before, you already know what I'm talking about. So that's everything that we have going on, and it's a lot. So again, sign up for it. We'd love to see you there. If you have any questions whatsoever, I'm here for you. The other liaisons are here for you. Just feel free to reach out to us anytime, and we're always happy to help you out. So I just want to thank you all for your time today. And Brandon, back to you.
Awesome, Kevin. Thank you so much. As everyone can hopefully see, we have a lot going on this year. And I think I speak for all of our liaisons here, all of our team at PA One Call. We want you at Safety Days. We need you at Safety Days. So please come on out. We want to make sure as many of our stakeholders are there. Take advantage of all of the education that we offer. And like Kevin said, you do get a free lunch. And also, thank you, Blair, for talking all about Safe Digging Month as well. So we're at the end of our program, the end of episode 7. We have a few moments here for any lingering questions that you didn't get to ask yet or you wanted to ask. You have all the liaisons here at your disposal, so throw them in that chat, and then Marcos can go ahead and read some off to us, and we can address them for you the last few moments here.
Waiting to see if any come in, Brandon. We've covered everything it looks like. Thank you to all the liaisons. Thank you, Tim. Another successful liaison library. As Brandon said, hey, listen, if you forget something today, if you didn't put it in the chat box or we didn't cover something, our liaisons are there for you. Contact your local liaison. We will be happy to help, come to you personally if we need to. Anything like that, we'd be happy to join you. If you have any stand down days, any safety events of your own, you need a One Call representative there, this is your group. So please reach out. Our information's on the website under the liaisons. Let's see here. Under about liaison regions, you have our liaisons information there for you. The slides will not be available to review later, but the actual website, the actual presentation will today. So you'll be able to skip through to the parts that you missed or you may want to see again. If you want more information on our slides, as I mentioned earlier, you can get, like I said, with your local liaison, we can get you the information on the slides, get you a one-on-one training if you'd like. But this particular presentation will be on our website and on our YouTube page as well. So that'll be coming in the next couple weeks. Will we be notified? I got another one. Will we be notified of an exact date for the 4.0? The current date right now we have listed is February 10th of 2023. And like I said, you will be notified if you're still using 3.0. You will be notified that we're going to be transferring all the data to the 4.0 platform, and 3.0 at that time will be cut off. But we are targeting the February 10th date. Just another few seconds here, Brandon. See if anything else comes in. Anybody else have anything on the liaison group to touch on? Mark, I'm not seeing anybody raise their hand. I think we got what we needed. A good agenda today. I hope everybody on the call learned something. We had about 120 or so people on this morning. Greg, you had something?
Yeah, just wanted to throw out to anybody, if they were interested in their certificate of participation for attending today, you could go onto our website, log in and click under My Account. There's a link there for any certificates for one-call events that you have attended.
Thank you, Greg. All right, Brandon, I think that's going to do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Marcos. Like you said, I think it was a great episode here, a great addition to our liaison library. So thank you to our liaison team. Thanks again to Tim. Also, you didn't hear from Jim Reynolds, but thanks to Jim, and also for our other liaison supervisor, Mark Lipka, for doing all the behind the scenes stuff. And so we hope you have a great day. Stay safe, and we will see you at Safety Day.